Hi, this video is about Outperform Planning and Excel. On many occasions we get the question if Outperform Planning can also interact with Excel. And the first answer is, why would you want to work with Excel if you can also work with Outperform Planning? But a more elaborate or friendlier answer is, sure, we can export to and import from Excel any report. And just to position this video correctly, there are two types of interactions between Excel and Outperform. There's the ad hoc. I just want to dump something into Excel and work with the numbers and then maybe import back into Outperform. But there's also the overall data management, which can also be done through an Excel data import template. This video is about the ad hoc working with Excel next to Outperform Planning. Let's get started. Outperform, I log in. And let's, for example, go to a sales report, the forecast. And once that report opens, I just press Ctrl E for export. And then I am in the submenu Export Spreadsheet, and I can export this forecast onto my desktop or wherever else I want to export that. Now, how did I find that shortcut so quickly? Of course, for those less familiar, I can type in export. There's a lot of export reports, but there's also an action export to spreadsheet, and that's this one. And again, I was a bit too quick. Export, more, export spreadsheet. The shortcut is Ctrl E. Now I export this forecast, save it. The file already exists. I practiced this video, of course. Do you want to replace it? And then the answer is yes. And if you take a close look, you already see that the blocks in this report got expanded, and that relates a little bit to how things appear in the Excel sheet. Let me just find it here, not go to my desktop because that's too messy, and then open the sheet, and you see there's a bit of what you see is what you get, and that's also why the report spontaneously expands its blocks. Now, can I then also make changes? Yes, I can. For example, if I put in 1,000 here for all these cells, and in one stroke I press Ctrl Enter, watch the numbers here, which is the total block, and you can see that the 1,000, you saw the numbers change here. The 1,000 is also having its consequences in this total block, because the report not only exports what you see is what you get, but tries also to retain the logic in the report wherever this is possible. Okay, that then makes my change. I save the file, and I now press Ctrl I for import, and then I import the spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet forecast.xls, which I had just saved, is imported. And now we get to the position that the report shows that these values have changed, and it then gives you the question or the advice, please review. You can save or discard, or you can apply additional changes. So it's really no different from changing the numbers in the report itself. For example, you can still decide to revert this selected change, bring it back to its original, and you can decide to put 1,000 here as well. Now that's kind of nice. Let me not save this, but discard this. I can also do another thing and say, let's change this to the company Outperform. So suddenly Outperform is selling dark chocolate bars to Outperform itself. And let's see what happens now, because that is the typical use case that people in spreadsheet may make changes in places where they shouldn't be making changes. and the system duly warns for that. It just cannot import this because the rows in the spreadsheet do not match the rows that were exported. So it's keeping track of which elements are truly the data that you shouldn't play with. I'll get back to this somewhere more at the end of the video. If I then correct this again and I can import, I need to first go to Outperform, of course, Control Import Forecast, and the system will now see again the 1000. It will see this all foods and it has repaired itself. Similarly, if you try to squeeze in an additional row, the system won't accept that, won't eat that. This report itself cannot insert a new row, and why would it accept inserting a new row from an outsider like Excel? The way that technically hangs together is through all this logic in the report info. It sort of keeps track of the checksum in several places, and therefore it is protected against too much tempering around. The other thing it's protected for is, of course, if you export into a sheet that's open. Let's also quickly demonstrate that. Control E. It will say that there is another actor busy replacing it. See, the process cannot access the file because it's used by another process. So there's various checks and balances that this feature entertains. If I go to this report, supply parameters, you will see that certain things have a formatting, and if I export this again, supply parameters, there's what you see is what you get, and there's also still the same behavior in the supply parameters. I can still change this to 10 days in the same way and then import it. And you can see the formatting of the column is kept, and I can import it, and the same behavior that you've already seen will be there. Now, not everybody likes those formatting extensions because maybe some other operations in Excel can't handle that. So let me then bring you to this settings menu. In the overall settings menu, there is a tab called Spreadsheet, and that contains 3 important tick marks. Protect the sheets. If I would have ticked this, I would not have been able to change the all foods into Outperform because it would already see that that is a protected column. But I just left it unprotected, made the undo change, and explained to you that the system protects you or supports you in that. But 2 other important ones are keep the format extensions. If I switch this off, this 3 days will just be exported as a regular number. And the other one, which is important, is visual groups. The visual groups are in this report quite apparent, forecast, and it is helping you to see that this F11 is all spread across total, regular, and P, and this all foods is repeating itself. Now, if you export this with keeping the visual groups, you really get what you see is what you get. But that's not always helpful at the other end, at the destination, because at the destination you may want to do some more pivoting and some more virtual lookups and so forth, and then you would be better off seeing this product description repeated here. And the way to achieve that is to go to Settings, Spreadsheet, don't export the visual groups, press OK, and then press Ctrl E, forecast again, and you will see it expanding, and in the spreadsheet you will see all the descriptions and all the other ones repeating itself. Now let's also not forget about the the true obvious, if I am in this application here, I can also just do copy, open a new Excel sheet, paste it in, and I can do equals multiply by 2, and then take this and then copy this in, and off you go. I've got the numbers doubled and the total block expands to all its details. Now, things are never truly obvious, because in order to do the same thing, I can also teach you another trick and go to sheet, take the calculator and just press multiply by 2 equals, and I achieve the same thing just inside Outperform the application. That's about it for exporting to and importing from Excel. Don't forget about the settings menu, allowing you to drive the subtleties of what it looks like and how you can use it at the other end, and whether the sheets are protected. And I hope you enjoyed this feature. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.